So right there is the through the case connector that's I'm convinced is the cause of my leak. It's a new one. I put a new seal in. I put the new seal in with RTV on it, and it's still leaking around that. So what I am going to do is, and I won't be able to film this because the camera will be in, or I'll be in the way of the camera. I'm going to put RTV all around this thing. I've drained the pan so there wasn't any leaking out for a couple days. I cleaned it with brake cleaner twice, once when I first drained the pan and once this morning. So I am going to just put a bunch of RTV in there and hope that I can get a seal, because I don't want to have to drop the pan again with no guarantee it's going to fix it. I know you're not going to be able to see much of this, but I'm going to still try to zoom in on the area where I'm working. That green wire right there is the one I took off of the thing, so it's up in behind there. So you'll see my hand going in there with the RTV on it, but that is about it. This, what you're seeing here, is the shifter cable. It looks like somebody might have already done the same thing in trying to fix that. I did not do that. So here we go. I'm just gonna, I hope these gloves, oops, already got a hole in the front. I'm gonna go get a new pair of heavier gloves. So I broke out the 9mm gloves I got from Harbor Freight a long time ago. I've never used them, just opened them. And I don't think I have exceptionally large hands. And these are large gloves. And I am having trouble getting these things on. So if you're buying 9mm gloves from Harbor Freight, I would recommend going up a size from what you think you need. Because this is, I got the camera zoomed in, this is really hard to get on. I guess it isn't helping that my hands were in the other gloves and were a little bit damp, but I'm having trouble even stretching the top of the glove over my hand at the thumb and palm area. So I don't think that's really the problem. I think I should have gotten extra large gloves. They apparently run small. But the good thing about these, now I put my hands in front of it trying to show you. The good thing about these, I guess they shouldn't break. I'm going to zoom that in and out a little bit to get a little better focus on there. So now I'm ready. Wow. Yeah, I would buy extra large for my my hand size. And just to give you an idea, I think I wear a size 10 ring on my wedding ring finger, so I don't believe that's a very large hand. I'll find somebody with small hands to give this almost full box of gloves to. going to be hard to get this in there with that flopping around on my finger like that, because I can't pull it all the way down. So when I took this car apart when I first bought it, because that's what I bought it for, is to just redo it. In terms of the mechanicals anyway, it's not necessarily the body and that, because way better mechanic than I am body and fender man. I painted the transmission case, and apparently the brake cleaner is taking some of that paint off. I hope that doesn't interfere with my sealing this up. There's still one little spot there that I haven't gotten anything into yet. Still some spots on the bottom. Problem is, you can't quite see everything here. I'm going to leave this set for days to allow it to cure. Normally it says 90 minutes, but it's a little cooler out, and I'm putting this on way thicker than it would be as a gasket. So Okay, I am gonna try and take a look at that with my I have a scope. Try to get up there and make sure I've got everything covered. I'm gonna get rid of these gloves, and if I have to do more, I'll need to put another pair of gloves on. Oh joy, they really are hard to get on. I did buy a set of 7mm gloves. Probably, maybe I'll try those, because they might stretch a bit better than the 9mm. These are really tight. Ugh. Wow. Throw this away and shut off the camera. I don't think I'm gonna video me looking at it with the bore scope, because it's just gonna be too many things to try to hold the screen in front of the camera, and I have no place to set the screen, so that's gonna be it. So there's one last thing I want to do, and that's clean up the pin where the electrical connector goes on, so that it makes good contact. And I had also a brand new box of 7mm gloves, so I decided to try those and see if those are any easier to put on. And they are a little, but I would still go with my recommendation to go a size bigger maybe than you think you need, because man, it's pretty hard to get on. I did use my scope and looked all around there as best I can, and it does look like I have a seal all the way around that thing, so I'm hoping for the best. I'm going to stick that pin on there while I'm here so that I don't forget it. Maybe I need a pair of needle nose pliers. Will help me get that on there better. Okay, that should do it. If that doesn't stop the leak, honestly, I think I'm going to give up. Might have to pay a professional to do it and guarantee his work. I don't know if I can find anybody that will guarantee it, because it'd be pretty easy to say, oh, if it didn't work, your transmission case has imperfections in it that won't allow it to seal. Oh well, that's as good as I can do for now. I will wait a couple days, 3 or 4, give that plenty of time to dry since it's cool weather, and I will fill it with fluid and then let it set for another bunch of days and see whether it fixed it. So I'm back to the 74 with the leaky transmission at the threw the case connector for the kickdown switch. I'm going to put the car down. The RTV that I put on has been drying for at least a week. I don't know exactly how long, but it's had plenty of time to cure, even though it was put on there pretty thick. So I'm going to put it down and add the transmission fluid back into it, and then let it set for several days and see if I cured anything. So I'm going to be pouring the transmission fluid back into the transmission now that that has cured for a long time. My trusty funnel here. And if you've been following along, you know that I used a brand new drain bottle here because that transmission fluid, hopefully you can see the color of it, it's only got about 200 miles on it or so. The thing has been leaking so long, and I had replaced it because I had to drain the transmission to do a couple of the repairs that I attempted to get it to stop leaking. One being the shift shaft lever, and this is an older TH400 which has a seal that you need to remove the shaft in order to replace it. So I had to do that. So I didn't want to buy a whole bunch of brand new fluid because it was just in there for a few miles. So I'm going to just put that car up on the lift again, and since that's when it leaks, it doesn't seem to leak anymore if you drive it. And it's already snowed here and there's salt on the road, so I'm not taking it out on the road to drive it. So I'm going to just put it back up, and in a few days I'll come out and check it, see if my last ditch repair has done any good. So I'm trying to get focused in on you see the green wire going to through the case connector, and I have put fluid in here that appears to be dry finally. I've let this thing sit for like a month. It's now December 22nd, and I did this before Thanksgiving. There is a tiny bit of fluid coming out of that through the case connector, but I don't think it's going to be enough to cause a drip. That's the good news. Bad news is there's still a couple little drops, if I can get that dang camera to show them, coming off of the front of the pan. But I think now that I've got that resolved, and I've felt all along the upper edge of the pan, by the way, and it's dry on the upper edge, so none of the seals there appear to be leaking. What I'm discovering now is that where the tail shaft bolts in, that's got drips on it. Now before I got everything stopped above the pan, I couldn't tell whether that was coming from here or whether it was flowing from the pan and just pulling up there. So I think what I'm going to have to do now, and I said I wasn't going to drop the pan anymore. Well, I can take that off without dropping the pan. However, in taking that off, I've got to be able to support the transmission. So in order to take that off, I got to get it on the lift over there, the four-poster, so that I can put the bridge jack under it and prop up that pan while I take that shaft off. So I think this video is getting to be long enough, and it's tough to get up in there. That there's where the U-joints, or I'm sorry, that's the transmission mount right there. So that's attached to the tail piece. So in order to take that tail piece off to seal it, we have to take off the transmission mount, which is why I have to support the transmission. And there's the universal joint on the drive shaft. That's got to be disconnected. But I think I can get that once I get it onto the other lift, so I can support the transmission. So that being said, I no longer am taking the attitude that I'm finished with this. I have one more thing that I can try. So until I can get this moved to the other lift, but that'll be another video.